This is my definition of what Vodou is. First, I'm going to give you the short answer, and then I'm going to give you the long answer. A mixture of spiritualities and ideologies brought by our West African ancestors to places like Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, and Brazil. In addition, the practices of Obeya, Candomblé, and Santeria, etc. were inspired by this diaspora. There you go. If you just wanted the definition, you can just click off the video and thank you. Have a great day. But if you want the slightly longer answer to this and sort of how I came to all of this stuff, you can stick around a little bit. So I'm going to be reading from the introduction of my book, Vèvè-Punk, Birth of the Dream, which I had been cooking in my brain for like 5 years and is available right now. There's a little link in the bio and everything. Instead of rambling about it off the top of my head, I'm just going to read from this because it distills down pretty much everything I have to say about this succinctly. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the book, and then I'm going to send you on your merry way. Because I'm probably going to talk about this ad infinitum for the rest of my existence, and probably afterwards. Introduction. Growing up, Vodou was a dirty word in my household. Any attempts I made to ask about it were cut off with rejection, rebukes, or redirection towards Jehovah. I was told many times by my aunt that in our family, we don't do that, and that it was simply a satanic thing that people did back home in Haiti. End of story. But there were always mysteries and contradictions. I can name a handful of times when someone in my family fell ill, and there were whispers of someone having caused it from afar through some ritual. The title Bon Dieu was always the Most High at home, and I knew it was different from what Jehovah's Witnesses wanted it to mean for us. It was also somehow synonymous with Jehovah or God. If your knowledge of Vodou or voodoo was anything like mine, your understanding of the religion is limited to depictions of black people stabbing dolls with pins or dancing in ceremonies of dubious origin. After I left the Jehovah's Witnesses at 19, I began a long, slow process of educating myself on Haitian history. I learned about Toussaint Louverture, the Haitian Revolution, and the consequences of freedom that are still embedded in how Haiti and its people have existed since the 18th century. My journey to educate myself on the history of my ancestors brought me to learning about Vodou or Vodun. This is my definition. Vodou is a mixture of spiritualities and ideologies brought by our West African ancestors to places like Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, and Brazil. In addition, the practices of Obeya, Candomblé, and Santeria, etc. were inspired by this diaspora. I am not an expert on Vodou, but I would argue that no one is, and that's the point. If you ask two practitioners what Vodou is, you'll get two beautiful, contradictory, and mysterious answers. Vodou is a mystery, and it's as mysterious as the fact that I can use these symbols we call letters and words, or the vibrations of my voice right now, to transmit my thoughts into your mind right now. The more I learn about Haitian history and Vodou, the more questions I have. My journey has provided me with answers in the form of a mythology that started revealing itself to me sometime right before COVID broke out in 2020. Vèvè-Punk is my attempt at answering a lot of questions that don't have clean answers in this life. Questions like, why did my parents die of HIV-related illnesses in the early 90s while living in the wealthiest nation on earth? If there is a difference between Bon Dieu and Jehovah, who'd win in a fight? What if Loas, Vodou spirits, became corporations in 2002 and rendered our capitalist economic system useless? What if Haitian descendants became the most powerful and influential beings on the planet? Vèvè-Punk is my creative world where tradition and innovation coexist, fusing together vèvès, ancient Haitian Vodou symbols, with modern technology. This collection, in this book, critiques how corporations, like modern Loas, consume our energy, turning us into fuel for their growth. Vèvè-Punk reclaims this energy, channeling it into resistance and empowerment. At its core, Vèvè-Punk celebrates the resilience of Haitian heritage. Vèvès and cosmograms are treated as gateways to infinite complexity, challenging us to see beyond the surface and into the vast potential of every symbol. This philosophy is a conversation about liberation, identity, and the power of cultural legacy in a digital age. I've included a glossary and recommended reading list at the end of this book to explain some terms and concepts. If you find yourself scratching your head and looking for clear, canonical answers, though, I hate to burst your bubble, but it ain't happening. Welcome to Vèvè-Punk. And thank you for sitting and listening through that and having your attention span be strong enough and fortified enough to make it to the end of this video. If you're interested in learning more about this book, other stuff I do, link in the bio. You can purchase the book right now on ebook and paperback in many different formats. I'm also doing signed paperbacks. If you have bought the book already, thank you so very much. And you can do me a favor by rating and reviewing it wherever you get it, on Goodreads, Storygraph, Amazon, Apple Pencil, ebook, eBay, MySpace, Blackspace, Mihente, Hinge, Grindr, Tinder, Bumble, Vinge, Vine, Yahoo GeoCities, Yahoo Undercities, Neverwinter Nights, EverQuest, World of Warcraft. You get the picture. Thank you. I would love to hear from you if you have any stories about the syncretic religions that I mentioned. I'm willing to bet you had a similar experience from me in terms of your family telling you that it was somehow evil or not something you should be doing. I'm curious about if you have any explorations into this on your own and what you've learned. So let me know in the comments below. And just remember, this video, what I'm talking about, it's not for Munsayo, if you know what I'm talking about. Munsayo can talk about whatever they think about it, and that's totally okay. But it's for you, not for them. So yeah, I'll see you in the comments.
Yo. What I look like, a valet? Keep it, it's yours. Hmm?